Good morning. Happy Tuesday, and welcome into the Real Monica Adams Show. I'm your host, Monica Adams. Thrilled to have you along with us on this really cold morning. Now, this is actually dangerously cold. For many of you, you're waking up. I just looked at my phone. It said 0. It is like 1 downtown. I left our house. It was 2, got up to not more than 4, and our high today is not going to be very warm. But there's light at the end of the tunnel. We'll talk about warmer days ahead. So we'll talk about your weather. We're going to talk about some frostbite conditions because this is truly when it becomes dangerously cold. I'm going to give you my own experience of what happened. I could feel it in my fingers, and I was only outside for 10 minutes just the other day. So just know this is very serious. Again, we got to take care of our animals. We're going to tell you about a harrowing story that happened in Vermont. And I started looking at stories. This happens a lot, unfortunately. You better watch out for those babies as they wander off. We have a guy who is a true hero that rescued one in Vermont. Wait till you see that video. We've also got some exciting things coming up this weekend if you're looking for something to do that is related to ice, but it's going to be a little bit warmer coming up in the U City Loop. And we'll talk about an icon in St. Louis in the music industry. We'll talk a little bit about the inauguration, but more so from a fashion standpoint. I told you I wanted to see what Melania was wearing. If you have any comments, if you watched it, I was busy yesterday, didn't get a chance to watch the inauguration. But a lot of executive orders were signed into place, so it will be interesting to see what happens with our world over the next 4 years. Today, we're not going to talk about all the politics. Don't want to get into all that, but we will comment. I was just looking up who the designer was of what Melania wore earlier in the day and at the inaugural balls last night. So we'll get into all that. And more importantly, we're going to talk hockey today with a dear friend of ours. You remember when we had St. Louis Blues enforcer Reed Lowe on? It's been over about a year ago. Well, we're going to follow back up and see where he has been throughout our area, some events that he has coming up, and Puck Cancer, second shift. The tickets go on sale this Friday. We'll talk all about that. We're talking about relationships. We'll talk about faith. We'll talk about a new podcast. We'll talk about humbling yourself and when that human spirit wants to take over and fight against your faith. What happens when that turmoil takes over? But then what happens when you let go and let God? I love that phrase, by the way. We'll talk about all that with St. Louis Blues enforcer Reed Lowe. He's going to be here in the next 10 minutes. Let's get to that weather, though, right away. It's a cold one. Wind chills. That's the biggest thing I want you to pay attention to. -10 to -20. I heard in Litchfield that the wind chill is -20 right now. So if you're outside of Missouri and Illinois, welcome to our area. Feel free to drop in and tell us. Hopefully it's warmer where you are. Maybe you're in a tropical location. Warm us up a little bit with where you are. For our immediate Missouri, Illinois area, this is what we're dealing with. 12 for a high today, 8. But then it starts to warm up. That's nice to see. 36 tomorrow. We've got a few flurries on tap on Thursday, so don't be surprised if you see those. 33 for the high. We get into the weekend, 35 for a high on Friday, and it's gonna be nice to see the sunshine. Saturday, look at that, 47. And then Sunday and Monday, there is a slight chance of a rain-snow mix, possibly Sunday, slight chance of snow on Monday. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's really great. It's going to be in that low to mid 40 range. However, with what we're looking at today, it's our last day of really bitterly cold temperatures. So are you aware of what takes place for frostbite conditions? Well, let's break this down for you. And it is a very short time period that you have to be outside for this to occur. So we're going to leave that up for you to look at the stages of frostbite as I talk about this. Some of the conditions, by the way, that can increase the risk of frostbite: reduced blood circulation. So we're talking about people who have diabetes. If you have peripheral arterial disease, you have Raynaud disease, that can all cause blood circulation to be reduced. Frostbite occurs when your skin and the tissue freeze due to exposure to cold temperatures, and it can cause permanent damage to the body. Of course, we want you to wear your gloves, your boots, your socks, your hats, but if they are too tight, that can limit your blood flow to the hands and feet. Inadequate clothing, so not wearing the right clothing for the weather, can increase the risk. Alcohol and drug abuse also can increase the risk. Malnutrition and medical disorders like hypothyroidism, peripheral vascular disease, we mentioned diabetes, stroke, arthritis, all can increase the risk of frostbite. So here are the symptoms for you: pain and tingling, burning, numbness or aching, swelling. If you have blisters in the first 24 hours, get to the emergency room immediately. Skin that is paler than normal, cold and hard, dark purple or black skin color, no feeling or pain in that part of the body. And some of the treatment for frostbite: slowly rewarm the affected area with wet heat. Seek medical attention, though, as soon as possible. I went outside for about 10 minutes to take some pictures of the damage that Jim had for his car. I was only out there for 10 minutes. Immediately I felt the tips of my fingers burning. I put them on my dog because she was so warm. That was my way of warming up. But I mean, all kidding aside, this is when it gets really dangerous. So stay inside if you can. If not, make sure you layer up, but make sure it's not too tight. Check on the elderly and take care of those doggies. We're going to talk about an incredible dog story coming up. All right, did you watch the inauguration? If so, feel free to drop in any of the comments that you want. If you watched it all day, some people were glued to it. I listened to it a little bit on the radio. I was getting text messages from everybody saying, did you see Melania? You wanted to see Melania. Well, let's see Melania. Okay, Melania looked absolutely stunning. Can we all agree on that? Her hat designer, by the way, says the hat that she wore sends a very powerful message. She was dressed in a navy blue outfit with matching pumps and a hat for the occasion. President Donald Trump made stops at the White House, of course, in his suit, but the hat that she wore, what do you think? What kind of message do you think that it sent? The American designer, and I love that it was an American designer, Adam Lips, or maybe Lippis, designed the ensemble, which consisted of a navy silk wool coat, a navy silk wool pencil skirt, and an ivory silk crepe blouse. Just simple and understated, just class. I think class epitomizes what I was telling someone. Some of the finest craftsmen in America, and they said they take great pride in showing such work to the world. And it was a powerful message, they said. Everything worked together. You know that it speaks to grace and presence. It was a very strong message, but bringing across glamour and style. And then I was looking into who the designer was of her dress. That was actually stylist Hervé Pierre, designing the inaugural gown once again. So if you didn't get a chance to see all the different balls, she had a beautiful black and white dress on. Multiple balls last night, and a lot of performers. Did you see Carrie Underwood? Michelle was telling me that the music went out, so she had to do it a cappella. I know the Village People performed, Jason Aldean, Billy Ray Cyrus, but he wasn't getting a lot of praise, unfortunately. Our own Nelly from St. Louis also performed, but just absolutely beautiful. And a lot of people are wondering, I mean, she is a supermodel after all. Will she make it on the cover of some magazines this year? We shall see. But yeah, looking at some comments, Linda said she looked great as always. She said her feet were killing her. That's what I wanted to know, because those look like really expensive pumps to me that I know are more for sitting than they are for standing. Rose said, I don't think President Trump should have told us her heels were killing her. Well, I'm sure they were. Again, those are probably sitting shoes. Anybody else that had a chance to watch it, what stood out to you? Feel free to drop it in. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and X right now, and we've got some exciting things to come up for you on the show. Obviously, a lot of executive orders were put into place. There were pardons from President Joe Biden going out in the last 5 minutes. There were pardons put in for the January 6th riot. Those are a lot of the things that people are talking about. I'm going to let all those political talking heads talk about all that today. We're not getting into that. I just wanted to say, let's bring unity and let's erase the division for the next 4 years and then continuing to go from there. Again, kindness, kindness, kindness. This is a new administration. Let's hope that things go well for our world. All right, in other news, Bob Cuban. Did you hear he passed away? What an icon in the music realm for our area. Beloved St. Louis musician, rock and roll Hall of Famer, passed away from medical complications. He was from Wildwood, Missouri, died surrounded by his family following complications from a stroke. He was 84, most notably known for his band Bob Cuban and the In Men for their chart-topping hits. You remember The Cheater, The Teaser, Drive My Car. He was born August 19th of 1940, and he described himself as a North County guy after living much of his life in St. Anne and Bellefontaine neighbors. Bob, thank you for what you provided to the world in your music realm and to St. Louis. All right, I know we're trying to get away from the cold weather and the ice, but some of you love to go to this ice festival that takes place. Actually, last year we talked to one of the ice carvers. Demo of live drone show, fire dancers, games, family, fun. It's all going to take place in the 18th annual Loop Ice Carnival. It is more than a frozen spectacle. It's a celebration of community spirit, the joy of winter. So family, friends, everybody come out, laughter, entertainment, unforgettable memories. Don't miss out on this chilly extravaganza. It won't be as cold though as today. So again, that will be coming up for you this weekend. They also have a temporary tattoo scavenger hunt. You can visit participating businesses, collect those temporary tattoos throughout the carnival area. A fun and interactive way to explore the event and win a prize. And we want to thank that guy right there. He was on with us last year doing some live ice carvings. If I can get him on again in the next couple days, we might do so for you. But get your tickets and enjoy that. 18 years going strong. All right, we couldn't wait to show you this trending story today. This happens a lot, unfortunately. In fact, I saw it happen in Massachusetts just within the last 24 hours. But this one is trending. Take a look.
Just go. Go before it gets wide.
Oh.
Go.
Look at, she's just encouraging. That's Chris McReachy, by the way, saving the dog. This is in Vermont. Freezing cold water. Morgan Sarasoli, by the way, taking the video for us on this. So they spotted that dog. Can you imagine if they didn't? I mean, I don't even want to know the outcome of that. Tia, who is moderating for you right now, watched this, and she had true tears in her eyes. How can you not? Chris, what a hero you are. And I know that not only does she take care of the dog immediately, wrapping the dog up, because again, we talked about frostbite and all the things that can happen. They probably took that dog into the vet just to make sure it was okay. Bundle him up too, though. I mean, come on, Chris just came out of the water. Isn't that remarkable? Thanks to that family, again, the McReachy family, for seeing the dog in the water, realizing that it was in that freezing water and there was nothing else to do. I'm going to ask each and every one of you, would you have gone in? Would you have shown that kind of kindness? Would you have gone into that freezing cold water? I would have. Absolutely. That's when or would you maybe try to have called the police and fire because they go in, these heroes. But Chris, you are a hero. And that one happening in Vermont. But as I mentioned, there was also a dog that had wandered away, gotten into an area of ice that had broken through. The dog went in. The guy went in to help the dog. He then went in. Again, these are dangerous things that can happen. I'm glad that one had a good outcome. This one, don't know if you were on the right end of this outcome, but Ohio State are the new national champions. We're talking about college football right now. They are the champs. They beat Notre Dame 34-23. This was a win that hardly anyone thought possible just a mere 7 weeks ago. Back on November 30th, do you remember? A 13-10 loss to Michigan led to a near riot on the field and questions over whether their coach, Ryan Day, would actually keep his job when the calendar flipped. Well, he did, and they come out victorious. Ohio State college football playoff champions beating Notre Dame 34-23. Congratulations to them. And how about our St. Louis Blues in a shootout beating the Vegas Golden Knights last night? Final score was 5-4. The Blues are back in action on Thursday. And that's how we're going to wrap up our news you can use, some exciting trending news as we get ready to talk about hockey and life after with the tough guy himself who's got a big heart of gold. He's just a big teddy bear. He's a dear friend of mine. He has been for probably, 25, 28 years now. I used to cover sports, and St. Louis Blues hockey was one of my favorites. Covered the Rams, covered St. Louis Cardinals as well, but I became really good friends with a lot of our Blues alumni, and Reed was one of them. So he is true and true and true. There's nothing fake about this man whatsoever. You're going to feel the teddy bear in him as he comes in and sits in the blue chair in just a second. We're going to talk about life after hockey. We're going to talk about some events he has coming up. He does tons of auctioneering, by the way, and he and I have been manifesting that we are going to become partners in me emceeing, him auctioneering, and raising huge money for charities. That's near and dear to his heart. He's also continuing to walk his love for Jesus and his faith and where it's taking him, the relationship that came about when he really started working on himself. All of that coming up with St. Louis Blues enforcer, Blues alumni, Reed Lowe in the blue chair when we return. Hi there, I'm Monica Adams, and welcome to my set of The Real Monica Adams Show. We started this over a year ago, and one of the main things that we've never wavered from is the mission of positivity. We need more of that in the world. I have been a longtime news anchor in television and radio, and unfortunately, I woke you up with the negative news, and I said, no longer. You feel the same way? Well, why don't you come join our team? Be a part of the mission. We have several segments that we have customized for sponsors over the last year. One of those, all having to do with positivity and animals, positive talk time. We have Wet Your Whistle Wednesday. Our What the Weather segment is actually with an aspiring meteorologist, so we're all about furthering his education. You could sponsor that, as well as Friendship Fridays, fitness and motivation. We can customize something for you. What matters is that you align with our mission: positivity, optimism, hope, light, no negativity, what the world needs more of. Why don't we join forces? Email me, info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com. Trust me when I tell you, your business will have the same type of growth that we have had. Thousands upon thousands are coming to our page every day and wanting more of this to wake up their day. Let's have that same growth for your business. Again, reach out to me. Let's join teams. info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com.
One of our things we always say is we want everybody to leave with a smile.
Oh, and trust me, they do. I've seen a lot of smiles here today. There's so many levels of why you will love these ladies, but giving back to the community, supporting the community, collaborating with other businesses.
Base pace. Now we give parameters here. Power walkers generally use incline. Yeah, I know.
Go, girls, go!
Because you're not only getting some great local roasted coffee, you're getting good people.
Good people is what it's about. And by the way, that person who turned up their nose, karma is that you know what.
Everyone needs to be kind. And it starts really with the adults. And then it goes down because we're the ones that are instilling this in our children, in our families, and everything thereafter.
We are live on location, and this is the really cool thing. This is exactly what we can do from your business. We call it Mobile Monica. You know I'm always on the move. Welcome back, 717. Thanks so much for being a part of the show. Continue to feel free to drop in any comments. I'll be taking a look at those comments live. And then, of course, always after the show, share, share, share. Again, we're trying to get to our next 500 followers. And when we reach 28,000 on Facebook alone, I've got a big giveaway for you. And we're going to keep going from there and helping reward you. Don't forget to be thinking about where you would like for us to host our 500th show. 500. We're thinking it's going to be somewhere near the end of February or early March when we hit 500. And then we're going to have a big party with you and to thank you for all this growth over the last almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years when we started this show as a dream in April, and then right here in this studio on June 12th. So let's celebrate together. We've got some exciting Mobile Monicas coming up. We'll talk about it a little bit later in the show, but that's the big one that all you Monica's Maniacs want to be at, 500. I can't wait for that. Yes, Reed, they call themselves Monica's Maniacs. Let me introduce my dear friend, as if you don't know him, St. Louis Blues enforcer Reed Lowe, and a dear friend of ours and a dear friend of St. Louis. Yes, are you a Monica's Maniac?
I'm for sure a Monica's Maniac. That's the greatest thing I've ever heard right there. I got to come up with something like that. That's awesome.
Reed's Renegade.
Yeah. That's what it would be for
exactly. Sure. It is so good to see you. Thank you for coming. He and I were talking about setting this up, and he's like, I will be there for you, but normally I'm nice and cozy and warm, right? He had to get out of this and sleeping.
Yeah,
on
5:30 came early, but that's good. I'll do that for you anytime.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. You know, I think has it been over a year since you were here?
Yeah, I think right about that, somewhere in there.
Yeah, it was near the beginning of us launching the show. And
pretty sure it was warmer outside.
It was
so maybe it was a little bit more than a year ago.
That's a true friend that's there for you when it's cold and he gets up. So we're going to talk about a lot of things. There's some events that you have coming up that we're going to drop on the screen. And then there's also the big Puck Cancer event that the Blues alumni are involved with. Tickets for that, by the way, go on sale on Friday. Chaser was in here last year talking about that. So they're calling that Second Shift, which I absolutely love. There it is. It's back. One night only. April 4th at the Centene Community Ice Center. Wasn't Garth Brooks at this last year?
Garth Brooks was at the one one last year. What Chaser can do and the star power that he has is absolutely incredible. I don't know anybody else on the planet can just get Garth to fly in his private plane,
Right.
show up, take pictures with a smile on for 3 hours, and then head out the door and go back. But Chaser's done a lot of great things in this city. He really follows the Bobby Plager way, which we all try and do, because that's really the guys. Him and Barkley are the guys that paved what the relationship is between St. Louisans and the St. Louis Blues alumni, and even the current players of today. So we're just trying to be a part of that and want to try and live up to that standard that Bobby and Barkley laid for us. And Chaser does a heck of a job, and they're always fun events to be a part of because he brings in all the big hockey names and all the big country music names, and it's good.
Blues Blackhawks. I mean, some of the old alumni that you absolutely loved. Again, that was his time period, my time period of covering sports. So you see all these names that are coming in, all coming together to try to eradicate cancer. How is Chaser doing, by the way?
Chaser's doing good. It was a little bit of a grind through December as he had a bone marrow transplant and a complete body. They have to do a complete body transfusion as well. And doctor told him it'd be the worst 12 days of his life. And we were getting ready to do. I ended up doing the auction at the Winter Classic for him, and we were just on FaceTime, and he's still working 8 days into this thing, and he's just miserable. He can't lay down, he can't sit up, he can't do anything. And to think that he's still not even worried about what's going on with him. He literally in his own mind is whatever. I've got stuff to do. I've got things to do. I've got people to help. So that's just how he's always been, and he's always working, and he just won't stop, even during the midst of his worst cancer treatment you can possibly get.
Well, please do me a favor and follow him, Chasing Pucks, on X, because he posted a video of him doing jumping jacks in some inflatable outfit. I'm like, that's his personality.
Yeah, he's always going. He's never going to stop. And it's just always fun to be a part of his events because he just puts on a first-class show. They raised, I think last year, they raised over $750,000 in one night. I do a lot of fundraising, and I'm a part of a lot of events. And raising $750,000 in one night is incredible.
Yeah, they were humping. And again, all of you, though, we have to thank all of you that came out. You bought your regular tickets, VIP tickets. Here's the thing, though. People bought VIP tickets to be able to get their pictures and sign with, Garth Brooks and the others that he brought in. But somebody that I know, a dear friend of mine, got lucky. She was standing at a concession area, and here he was walking around the corner, and she was like, oh, my God, will he take a picture? And he did, even though that wasn't a VIP ticket. He's not going to say no.
No, and I've been fortunate enough to been around Garth a few different times over my hockey career. Garth's a huge hockey fan, and we used to, donate money. For me, it was penalty minutes. Sometimes it was goals. Teammates for Kids is what the charity's called. I'm not even sure if it's still going, but we used to get to go to Nashville, and Garth would play at the, the Grand Ole Opry on stage with him and Trish Yearwood, and we'd have just a storyteller concert. Just a great guy. Never turned down an autograph ever. The most humble superstar I've ever been around in my life.
Agreed.
It's
he's
absolutely
huge.
incredible. He's so genuine.
He is a superstar. So do you know any names that are coming in this time?
I haven't really heard much about it. I think they're just in the, Chaser will start working on this about
Well,
end
he
of March.
went all the way down to the wire last time. He's like, hey, this person's coming in.
Yeah.
So follow that, because one of the things that was exciting is that every time I would turn on or tune in to X or Instagram, it would be another one.
Yeah.
Like hours before it was this person's coming in.
A lot of times in these situations, and so especially when you talk about superstar musicians and just guys that have hockey. Like there's a lot of commitments out there, and we get asked to do a lot of things, and so there's a lot of times they can't make that commitment, and so there's always somebody new added that's coming down the line. So without question, pay attention to it. I know everybody's excited. I am too.
Yes, absolutely. Again, tickets go on sale on Friday, and they went fast last year, so a lot of people were frustrated because they didn't get tickets. Well, that's your own fault because you waited on it. So Puck Cancer second shift again coming up in April, but tickets go on sale on Friday. All right, if you're just tuning in, again, former St. Louis Blues tough guy, Reed Lowe. And I laugh at that because you're the biggest teddy bear. Honestly, right? Wouldn't you say that?
Yeah,
I mean, on the ice, one way.
No, I put a pair of hockey skates on me and it switched around, but it's not the first time I've been called a teddy bear. And I like that, It's when I don't like fighting. I've never been in a street fight or bar fight ever in my life. I've had many opportunities, always found a way to get myself out of it for whatever reason. And I never fought because I wanted to fight. I fought because I I wanted to make the NHL more than I didn't want to fight.
Yeah.
And that was the role that I was put in, and that's the role that I had seemingly in my junior career started to be very successful at, and then got drafted by the St. Louis Blues. And I'm like, all right, well, this is what I have to do to make the NHL. This is what I'm willing to do to make the NHL. And so I had to get myself geared up for these games because I was scared. Every single night I was scared because literally you're fighting the 30 toughest guys in the world on skates, and it's the only legal bare knuckle fighting in the world.
And what was your favorite fight?
There's a lot of them out there. Like I was in over 300 fights in 17 years on the ice.
Holy cow.
And
do your knuckles show it?
Oh yeah, most of my fingertips are broken. But I'd say probably one of my favorite fights was the one that you guys just showed there, where I fought Bob Probert. And I grew up. Bob Probert was a legend, and to be able to, and he asked me. He was 37 years old. I was 24 years old. Typically, the young guy's chasing the old guy.
Right.
He looked at me. He's like,
around?
"You want to fight every night, kid? You're gonna go with me tonight."
go.
So we just got after it real early. So.
So again, it's not that he wants to be the tough guy. He was just there, and you're a protector. That's kind of in your nature, just in friends and family. So how many times did you, Chaser, and Twist going out to any of the many bars when you were younger? Did guys puff up their chest after having a few beers and be like, I can take those guys?
Well, Chaser and Twister were kind of already in the alumni by the time I got here, so I didn't get a lot of times to go with them. I know that they didn't mind puffing their chests back up. For me, I had it happen every once in a while, and I didn't want to fight. Like, the last thing I want to do after I got done fighting 3 Chicago Blackhawks that night was go to the bar, have a beer, and get in another fight. Like, that's not where my head's at. So the guys would come up, and I'd be like, hey, listen, don't tell anybody, but I'm not that tough when I don't have skates on. Why don't I just buy you and your buddies beers, and you guys can protect me all night, and we'll be friends? They're like, really? I'm like, yeah, let's go to the bar. And I'm like, these guys are all on my tab. And by the time I got done my first year, I pretty much had friends at every place I went to, so I never really had to worry about it after that.
See, that's it. I told you, he's just a big teddy bear. Again, there's a lot of things that we talked about when Chaser was on with us, and he was talking about how great friends they all are. And I love the fact that you've all made home here. And that's the thing that we saw a lot. And I'm hoping maybe moving forward with our current St. Louis Blues that they'll do the same. But you guys all could go back to Canada. You all could have said, great, loved my time here. But what made you want to stay? What did you fall in love with most with St. Louis?
I think it's just the community. And I think that you have to take a look at the fact that back in the 70s and the 80s, guys were coming out of playing in the NHL and needed jobs. And there was a better opportunity for some of these guys to go and work for some of the people and the sponsorship people and the executives around town. There was opportunity here for guys to stay, and I think that's really where it was built on. And obviously Bobby and Barkley were such a huge part of the team and such leaders in the beginning portions of this organization that that's where they were, and that's where everybody else wanted to be around them. I think as we've moved through the 2000s, like the 90s and 2000s, where we started to make a little bit more money, we still wanted to be a part of this community. I think that there's been a little bit of a lull over the last few years on whether players want to stay, but I know that we've got, Alex Steen's getting ready to take over as the general manager of the St. Louis Blues. I know that Bear Jack is going to be doing a lot more for our St. Louis Blues alumni as we start to move into the next few years. And those are two really true blue, later generation guys that understand what it's like and what it means to wear the note. And I think that when you get a guy like Alex Steen behind the curtain running this organization, guys are going to want to come to St. Louis, and they're going to have to be asked to take a higher step in the community than any other team in the NHL. It's just part of what wearing the blue note is. And I think that when the guys get out there and they see what it's like to interact with these fans and be a part of this community, it's a special, special thing. And so we want to make sure we keep that legacy alive. Yeah. There's over 40 of us that live here. We coach hockey here. Amazing. We're part of the community here. And the best part is that I've been retired for 18 years. Like that blows my mind when I look at it and think 18 years I haven't been a part of playing in the National Hockey League. And people are like, has it been that long? It seems like it's been 2 or 3 years, or, still signing a can of tomato soup and a Schnucks, whatever it is. It's just this community and this city and just how they've endeared us. And once you've earned their respect and their love, it's there forever.
It's there forever. Absolutely. Well, one of the things I don't see as much anymore, we used to, and maybe it's the fact that I don't watch news anymore, maybe it is still out there, but you guys constantly were visiting children's sick in the hospitals. You were involved in so many charitable-minded events, and I don't see that as much anymore. Actually, I don't see it as much anymore with any of professional athletes.
The biggest problem there is the National Hockey League Players Association and the NHL limiting the access that people get to the players. When I was playing, we would do 12 to 14 different events throughout the hockey season. Now they're mandated down to 2. And so that's where you only see like the casino night and then one other big night. And that's the only time that the people really get a chance to see the players, unless they're doing their own kind of promotional stuff or they're out doing their own thing. Which again, these guys, the minimum salary in the NHL now is I think around $750,000, $800,000. So I've made that kind of money. You don't have to have a side job, right?
Right.
So, and and by the time if you get 5 or 6 or 7 years in the league, you can kind of go live and do whatever you want, And so I think there's a lot of, we have some guys that have sniffed around coming back to St. Louis, and some of these guys that have just recently retired, and we need that next age of player to want to be in St. Louis and to want to stay here so that we can continue this thing to stay alive. And I think that Barrett Jackman and Alex Dean are the perfect candidates to do that, and I'll follow in right behind them and help out any way I can.
Again, we're talking with Reed Lowe. Before we take our break, and we're going to talk about faith, we're going to talk about events coming up, we'll talk about relationships, we'll talk about humbling ourselves. If you have any comments or questions for him, you want to thank him for his years. I can't believe it's been 18 years.
Know,
You're making me and you both feel old. That means it's been 18 years since I covered you in sports. What would you say to the fans right now to thank them, and what makes them stand out from any other fan in the NHL?
We just have the best fans in the world. When I take a look at the opportunities that come to the St. Louis area, where most other small, mid-sized cities like this couldn't handle it from a sponsorship standpoint or a financial standpoint to make it worth the while. I think St. Louis steps up every single time and hits it out of the park, and I think it's because they are just endeared to the Cardinals and even to the Rams. Like, there's still people that won't cheer for the Rams and were really happy last weekend, and it's a it's a completely different team. You know what I mean? But I think they're just a special group, and they just love their players. And like I said, Stanley Cup, I told people all the time, Market Street will never be the same. No. You can have a Super Bowl party, you can have a World Series party, but when Lord Stanley comes to St. Louis, Market Street, it's not going to be the same. And as we remember, it wasn't the same. A third of the city was down there. They ran out of beer. Like, how does St. Louis run out of beer?
Hello, Anheuser-Busch.
So we did it up right. We need to go get another one, but in the meantime, the fans are they're just the best of all time, and that's why we all stick around.
You want to know why? I mean, this is selfishly why we need another one, because I wasn't here for that.
Oh, my.
I was in Nashville, and then on my way to Birmingham. I missed that. I mean, being a hockey fan for as long as I was, I missed the dang parade. I was at the Super Bowl parade that was freezing cold, made my way back from Atlanta, which was wonderful, but I'm like, I cannot believe I missed that. I missed We Went Blues.
Oh, my. We Went Blues, all right. It was crazy. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen and been a part of.
Did you all go? If you did, feel free to drop in now, or when you do a hashtag replay for us if you watch this later. I'd love to know what stood out to you. Karen just said, I love Reed. You're right, a big teddy bear. Absolutely. So any questions, any comments for my friend Reed, feel free to drop them in for us. We're going to take a break. We're going to switch gears. We're going to talk about his faith. We're going to talk about this beautiful love that he has for Jesus and how it all came about. Really, what happens when you give it all, you let go and let God, and the things that start to fall in place. It just is a beautiful walk. Relationships and some events that he has coming up that we want to talk about for you as well. We have our own giveaway. If you are a fan of Disney on Ice, we're going to do that when we come back from the break. Don't go anywhere.
This lady got me in the best shape of my life. I literally didn't know that I could be in shape like that. But the amount that she pours into her clients, and especially whenever you get the one-on-one training, it's mind-blowing. I mean, it was really life-changing. I learned so much about proper form, about nutrition, about just being able to invest in myself. I hired Monica to be my personal trainer, which was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
All right, we were talking about this yesterday when I was personal training my clients. They all wanted to know how much for tickets. It's not. It's absolutely free for the dance party with the Real Monica Adams team, January 30th. That's next week, Thursday. At 5 o'clock is the live broadcast from Almost El Ritmo Dance Company, which is down on Park Avenue. And then afterwards, the beautiful Carmen Gwynn is going to teach us a little salsa dancing. So move those hips. And do not feel embarrassed if you are literally just starting. That's what it's all all about. We got to start somewhere and just have fun and laugh together. So for those of you that have seen the event that I posted on Facebook, you can click on that. Do you have to RSVP? No, but it's just fun for us to know how many people are coming. That way, maybe Carmen is going to be bringing in some of her other instructors. She's going to invite some of her already class members that she has, and I'd like to see some of them dancing during the broadcast from 5 to 6, and then we will all have a blast together. So let us know if you're coming. You can also email me if you would like. My email is info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com, or go to that event on Facebook and let us know that you're coming. Okay, let's see. Karen says, I'll be there again at the Puck Cancer event. Love that. Anybody else that has any comments? Reed Lowe squeezing into the blue chair. He's not squeezing. He's stealth looking right now. You look good. Hey, come on now.
That is on the list of things to do in 2025. I am squeezing into
you have
this
a
thing
trainer
little
right
bit.
here.
Listen, yes.
Stephanie, Reed, you're a great guy. Thanks for all you do. Come back to Top Shooters and a podcast. We're going to talk about a podcast, by the way. I was coming back from Cabo. So sad I missed it too. Michelle Harmon. None of us were at the parade, which was ridiculous. Julie, OMG, I wanted to take the grandkids to Disney on Ice. Well, they're going to Disney this year the first time, but I won within the last 30 days. Okay, yes. Ideally, if you've won in the last 30 days, we would like for you to try to give the opportunity to someone else. So I'm going to let Reed ask you a question. What do you think?
Where do you want me to go with this? Like anywhere?
Anywhere.
All right. The first thing that popped into my head, I don't know if anybody remembers, but does anybody remember who I scored my first NHL goal on?
Okay. All right. If you're a big fan, will they be able to find that if they Google it?
Yes.
All right. So Google quickly. Let's see how fast your fingers can work. And I'm going to have Tia keeping an eye for me on Facebook. We're also on YouTube and we're on X. So we'll try to bop over. And if you want to comment on any of those platforms. So where did you score your first NHL goal?
Who did I score
against?
On? Yeah. What goalie?
Oh, what goalie? Okay, hold on. So what goalie did you score on?
Yes.
Okay.
He's pretty famous.
Okay. All right. So you can look it up if you want to. And if whoever gets the right answer, we have a family 4-pack of tickets to give to you for Disney on Ice, Into the Magic, taking families on a high sea adventure as Moana sets sail on a life-changing quest. There's some really great pictures for you to save her island with help from the demigod, Maui. With the ice floor transformed into a vast oceanic scope, Disney on Ice will allow Moana's strength and determination to take center stage. It's athleticism, it's grace, all on ice. Rapunzel, Cinderella, brave heroes from Frozen, Tangled, Cinderella. I've had a chance to bring my godchild to Disney on Ice in the past, and we just absolutely loved it. So we are giving away tickets for you. If you don't win them, you can, of course, purchase them. These are tickets, by the way, for opening night on Thursday at 7 p.m. So for those of you that cannot come to the dance party, or maybe you go to the dance party and then you go after, that would be great. Come over, dance, do a little salsa, and then maybe go over to the Disney on Ice. So Disney on Ice tickets, we've got a family 4-pack for you right now for anybody that's able to answer that. Again, what goalie did Reed score his first NHL goal on? All right, and Tia put that in the comments as well. Corey Schonhorst, who's a dear friend of ours as well, says, how does Reed stay so positive from day to day? What's next for Reed in his career? So let's go ahead and talk about, you are talking about doing a podcast. You've been kicking this around for a while.
Yeah, I'm still kicking it. I just, I want to do something that can help some folks the way that I got my help, to understand that there's a difference between religion and relationship.
Yep.
And not that we're kind of lost why we're doing it, and it's because of love. When I think of the Word of God, it's love. It's one word. It's singular. It's love. That encompasses everything that He is. And so for me, whenever I started to understand that, and whenever I prayed to Jesus one night and He showed me the sign that I asked for that next day, I started on a journey of learning how to love myself unconditionally, learning how to forgive myself. And when I really, really surrendered to those things and allowed those things to take the course of my life and be the leadership in my life, and really just let go of the steering wheel and let, like Carrie Underwood says, let Jesus take the wheel, and just understand that whatever's coming into my life, good, bad, or indifferent, from a human set of eyes, there's a spiritual set of eyes that loves me, and keep that focus on how to love and how to allow love to just, come off of you and be a part of this world. And, I really, really, truly believe that if there was ever a moment in this world for everybody to lay down their sword and love, we wouldn't have the issues that we have in our world today. That is a fact. That is an absolute fact. Are we ever going to get there? Probably not. But it doesn't really matter what is going on. When you learn how to do that, now because I've truly surrendered and live a life filled with gratitude, I can give that to other people so much easier because I'm not holding on to it for myself. I've let it go. I've released it. It's gone. And so how can I form a podcast where I can get on there and talk about, some of my demons and some of the things that went down with me and how my life has changed in the last 4 years since I received the Holy Spirit and the love of Jesus Christ into my heart. And so, I want to do something. I wanted to call it the Sin Bin, but there's a couple other podcasts out there that are sin bin, but they're hockey related, because in the sin bin is the penalty box.
Right.
And I obviously spent a ton of time in the penalty box. And so I have some people are like, no, you can't call it because it's already that. But like, that was my passion with it, because like I lived in the sin bin, but I also lived in the sin bin of life, right? And understanding what sin is. And a lot of times people don't have a true mindset of what sin is. Sin is not just swearing at somebody or being mean or whatever. Like, more sins upon ourselves than anything, right?
Absolutely.
Like, I understood that, when I take a look at human, I let myself down more than anybody ever let me down. And it certainly was easier to forgive somebody else than it was myself. And truly understand that it doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, we're just here for a really short amount of time. So why not just have the best possible time we can and love as much as possible?
Amen. Please preach. Preach, Pastor Reed. You know what I love? And I saw an influencer on X and on Instagram about a week and a half ago, and she was showing clip after clip after clip for 90 seconds of all of these professional athletes, more and more, and these celebrities, more and more, coming out. Like, we think about the award shows when they get ready to thank their producers and the other actors and obviously the audience, but they start with, pointing above. Thank you to the good Lord above. Thank you for Jesus for allowing me to have these talents, God-given talents that I hone. No longer are people hiding that. Why do you think that we're seeing this unbelievable movement of faith?
Well, I think if you just take a look at the world around us, everybody needs to have a little bit of faith.
We would hope.
I think the one thing that I would say for me personally, and I'm not a big fan of, like, everyone's like, I just struggle, like, where people try and, talk about the fear of God. I don't fear God, right? What happened to me, and the way that I explain it to people, is that when I separated myself from him, that's where the fear came in, because I didn't have myself inside of the love, the true spiritual love, right? Humans are going to let us down. We're going to let ourselves down every single day. But that true spirit of love, when I look back now and I realized that I had separated myself from that, that's the fear, is being separated from him. Not the fear of not doing as he says. He doesn't ask. He asks us to do as the book tells us to do. But at the end of the day, we also have to an understanding that it's not going to be perfect like that. And so don't fear shame somebody into, and that's what religion did to me in my early years. I was 13 years old at a Christian athlete hockey school, and these 4 counselors drugged me into a room and said, if you don't say this prayer, you're going to hell. I was like, whoa. TV timeout. Where's my dad? Okay, I'm 13. This is not right. And it took me one step away, and I kept going further and further and further. And then I started to have some success in life, and I started to think, well, I don't need anybody else. I don't need anything else. I got this. Yeah. Like, I wasn't supposed to make the NHL, and here I am in the NHL, right? And then you break a couple times, and there was a time when I felt that he was never there for me, and Jesus wasn't there for me. And now that I've broke and I've started to rebuild a little bit, and will continue building for the rest of my life, I realized that he was always there, and that's where you can bring in the poem The Footprint.
Yes.
And
one of my favorites.
And understand that he was always there, reaching a hand down, going, I got you. And he's going to knock on your door every single day, and you may not answer. He's not going to get mad at you.
Please tell me you all know the Footprint poem. I have had that around me since I was a little girl, because it used to just make me cry. So read it over and over and over again. But why? Why am I only seeing this many footprints? Because that's where he's carrying you. Yeah. He's carrying you. He's taking you forward. He would never take you to something that he wouldn't carry you through. It's another really powerful thing for you to think about. So for you to find this place and be in such a good space, how dark was it?
It was dark. I just had a friend commit suicide a week and a half ago back home, former hockey buddy. And, we've got our former tough guys, a bunch of them in the professional, the minor leagues and stuff. We've got a compassion line where we get on and we talk about it, and it's okay to not be okay. And we're going to have bad days, but try not to let it get down. I'm never like a suicidal guy, but I didn't want to live. I didn't want to be in this world anymore. I didn't want to live through the financial stress that I was living in 2020. I didn't want to be a part of it anymore. I had kind of outgrown the human that I was, and I needed something bigger. I needed to trust in something that wasn't a human, because all it ever did was let me down. And again, like I said, most of it was me. And I'd always had this love for Jesus, and the true love for what he is, a healer, unconditional, like a friend, pick you up, love you, right? Like all of that stuff. And I wanted to feel that, and I wasn't feeling it at all. And so I just said a prayer to him one night, and I was like, you either got to show me something or just get rid of me, because I'm not worth anything. And the next day, a friend sent me a text message, and it was a song from Casting Crows called While You Were Sleeping. And I listened to it and cried for about 2 hours. And then she sent me a devotional from Jesus Calling. And, from there, it got worse. Life got worse. It's not like you just accept this and all of a sudden hey, we're good to go. It actually takes the understanding of really truly surrendering and releasing it. And it's alcohol was at the worst part of my life. I love wine. I'm a drinker, but it got to a point where it was, taking over, and there was nothing else getting done. And so, it was a place that I'm happy I was at. That's crazy to say, because if I wouldn't had some of the dark days with my divorce and, the way that my NHL career ended, which again was a lot more me than anybody else, if I wouldn't have had the stuff that I have, I wouldn't have probably broke the way that I broke, and I wouldn't have had the opportunity to truly heal myself in the most real, genuine sense of the word that you possibly can. And I just encourage anybody out there to just surrender everything to Jesus. And it doesn't mean it's going to get easy. It doesn't mean, but the way that you wear it and the way that you live it is just differently. I make different decisions today. I have a different mindset on what is and what isn't and where I want to be. And if I didn't let it all go and give it to him, I would not be here today.
Powerful, right? Very powerful statement. And what I love is you and I both very proud to continue to put the faith out there, not push it on anyone, just say, this is us. And if you're interested, he's in a Bible study program. My husband got introduced to a men's Bible study. I love going to coffee shops now, and I see young kids, and they've got Bibles in hands, and I was like, it's everywhere. I love this. Yeah. It's starting to really take over. Again, if it's not for you, maybe it's not your time, but I just always don't understand how someone can go through life without having that guidance and that faith. It just feels so alone, and you're so distraught over everything that's happening. I mean, you heard him just say it. It was in a dark, dark place, and it kept getting worse. And that's where it's very easy for people to say, okay, never mind. I want it to happen now. It's not ever going to happen in the timing that you think. It's in his time, and we have to trust that. And he knows best.
Yeah, and there's no protection against the human world. So it's not like all of a sudden, tragedy can't hit you, right? At any given time, tragedy can hit you. Yep. And, how do you handle it? How do you deal with it? That's on everybody. But I'm dating a girl right today that lost her husband a year and a half ago. And for me to watch her still have this insane love for Jesus after watching what has happened to her and her family and her children is heartbreaking. And she just sings to him and loves him and brings it. And, she's awesome.
I've told the story before, and I'm so happy, by the way, because I've met her, and I've seen him with her, and I just love how you light up. Again, I've known you for a long time, so I've seen you through the darkest and the highest and the ebb and flow of life. But those are the things I want you all to think about as we take this break. Wherever you are right now in your life, and you might be in one of those dark places, again, if you can surrender, like Reed's talking about, like I have talked about on this show in the past, greater days are ahead. You just have to keep following that. I talk about the faith of my mother and how she lost her mom after 7 bouts with cancer. She lost her husband, my father. I had my severe blood clot. My brother had cancer. Her best friend passed away. All these people super, super close to her. And it was knockdown, knockdown, knockdown. And what happened? She turned more and more and more to God.
Sure.
And that's when people go, well, how can you? Because what God would do this? There are people who will say, what God would take a young child? What God would let 2 people get engaged, get married, and on their actual wedding day, a tragic accident happen? All these things. We know horrific things happen in the world. Those aren't the answers we have right now. But
I always say this, Satan doesn't get enough credit for his lure in this world. Everybody gives God the glory and the grace, and then whenever something bad happens, they want to attack him for that too. We have to understand that there's evil in this world. This is the one thing that I tell people all the time. I only know 2 things for sure in this world, good and evil. And the scariest part of that is they both reside in us.
they sure do.
And you get the choice every single day to pick which one you want to follow, to pick which one you want to love, to pick which one is going to be your guidance. And Satan is more than welcome to make the path very easy. I've walked on it. It is very easy, and it's alluring, and it's like, oh, here you come. But there will be a price to pay for that.
Yes.
And for me, at the end of the day, it's the same thing on the other side. I didn't give my heart to Jesus Christ so that I could get to heaven. I did it so that I could try and find a little glimpse of heaven on earth. And that is powerful for me to say, you can find it right here. Like, they talk about going to heaven and afterlife and all the other, that kind of stuff. Like, it's already started. I've already started that journey with them, and I'm going to just continue to learn. There was a lot of times where I felt like losing was where it was at and what happened. And, for me, I changed the mindset that I had. First off, I got a whole bag of gratitude, and I just look at every single thing that happens that's bad, and I'm like, hey, why am I here, right? I'm not losing, I'm learning. I either win or I learn now, and so that mindset has changed the way that I look at myself when something doesn't go the way that I want it to go.
I'm going to take a break. I'm going to ask you to think about this for a second, because this is one thing that I ask every life coaching client I've ever had. And if I had asked him 4 years ago or in his darkest space, it may have been a different answer. But where you are in this very given moment, tell me what your purpose is in life. Don't answer yet. And all of you can think about the same thing. It's a really powerful question, and it'll continue to evolve and maybe even change on you. And you might say, well, I think this is my purpose right now. But think about that question. It's something to really let sink in, because we all have a purpose, and it's what you do with it while you're here. And as those seconds tick away, because again, we all know tragedy can happen, as you just mentioned, at any given point. Life just all of a sudden shifts, and it's what we do with that. Again, we're still looking. Tia, did we have an answer yet?
I think we have the correct answer.
Wait, you think we have the correct answer? Who does it go to?
Well, what is the
Wait, we can't give it yet. What did this person guess?
Patrick Roy?
It's correct.
Oh,
And
she's
it's,
like, I
it's
knew
not
that.
pronounced Roy.
Yes, it's Wah.
Because it's French. Patrick Wah.
Yes.
But the funny story about this is, and the reason why I picked this, is because I scored that on my dad's birthday. It was my 9th game in the NHL. And for all you out there that want to see the goal, don't Google Reed Lowe's first goal. Google Patrick Wah's biggest bloopers. I'm right there at the top of the list. So
I
there
love
you go.
that. I have an Uncle Roy, by the way, and we call him Uncle Wah. So who got that? Julie. Oh, Purcell. I thought she just said that she won in the last 30 days. Well, let's look into it. We'll go to a break. But you know what? We're going to give it to her anyway, because she wanted to go away to Disney on Ice. Congratulations. 7:53. When we come back, we're going to talk about an event coming up this Thursday. We did scan the QR code and tickets. I think there's 41 tickets still available for this whiskey event that's coming up on Thursday that you're involved in. Are you?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah, we're sold out now, but
Oh, he scanned the QR code and it looked like there were tickets still available.
I don't think so. I'm doing the Ben Polson this Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all sold out.
So, Zach, you scanned it? That's not good, though. If people are scanning the QR code and it's showing tickets are still available.
Yeah, it's not good. I'm going to have to get I know that Jimmy's not awake, but
There's another one, though, that's coming up as well that we'll talk about. Don't go anywhere. And by the way, if you have any questions or comments, we're going to go to the comments and look at what you're all talking about with our friend Reed Lowe, St. Louis Blues, good guy and enforcer, big teddy bear, when we return. He wants to say, I can't believe I took your son's life. I don't know what I was thinking. I have so much regret and remorse. I've changed my life. Would you accept that apology?
I've never thought of that. Yeah,
Do you think, because you talk about forgiveness, do you think that you all can ever forgive one another and come back together?
It wasn't just right. I'm not perfect. Just because my name is Bush, I don't have it all figured out. And I think they know that too.
I was cyclically depressed, so I could be the happiest person you ever met at 11 a.m. I could be on cloud 9, and by 7 p.m. that evening, I'd be sitting on a couch with a gun in my hand and thinking hard not to get emotional. I
Never feel sorry for being emotional.
really, I was at a space to where I couldn't believe that I had brought my children into this.
Where's the light? Because many of you probably feel that there's this darkness and there's this thunder cloud that's constantly over you. This family has dealt with so much.
Our journey is our journey. There has to be purpose in this pain. There has to be something more powerful. I have to find something to be blessed about every day. I have to count my blessings and have gratitude every single day.
And welcome back just a little bit before 8. How about we get the girls together? Yes, we need our own night read. Galentine's night, the night before you get to go out with your love. And there is a big event coming up on Valentine's as well, I'll tell you about. But I want this one first. We're going to broadcast from Stonehouse of St. Charles at 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, and then the fun begins from 6 to 9. We're talking about all the rage right now are all these cocktail boards, right? Just like the really beautiful charcuterie boards, which will have themed charcuterie boards as well. But these signature cocktails, and we don't know exactly which ones that they're going to do just yet, but they will mix up some really beautiful signature cocktails for you. You get 2 of those, themed charcuterie, and then music bingo, which is going to be crazy. So if you're good with music and you can name that tune in 3 notes, you might win some really cool prizes. And then this is what I love. They are going to have vendors there with permanent jewelry. There's a really cool, do you like wearing cowboy hats, Reed?
I do.
You have got to know about this. We'll tag all the vendors, by the way, that are going to be participating. But there is a really cool Western hat company that is involved that's from St. Louis. Whoever does their social media, I mean, it's really hot looking. It's amazing. I can't wait to meet them. There's going to be, let's see, permanent jewelry, the hats. I think there's a candle place, but a lot of shopping before you get a chance to come in and then have a good night. Stonehouse of St. Charles just alone, they've been known for a long, long time for their weddings, but now they're opening up to some really cool events like this. They have a murder mystery dinner that's going to be coming up. And then there is Valentine's on Friday and Saturday. That's Abby Stahlschmidt, a good friend of ours. She will be playing the violin, strolling violin. I mean, how beautiful is that experience as you have this wonderful dinner with your loved one. So there's something going on at Stonehouse of St. Charles on the 13th, 14th, and 15th. I'd like to see you, though, on Galentine's night on Thursday. It's going to be a good time. Send your girl along. Tell her to come on with us.
Yeah, I will.
All right. We are talking about so many things that Reed's involved with. So you mentioned on Thursday this event, but you said it is sold out.
I'm pretty sure it's sold out. We were talking last night, so
okay.
I'm not sure. I'll hit the QR code, have a look. But I'm pretty sure that Kelly had got everything updated. But as far as I heard it is, but like I said, maybe
they'll open up some more tickets for you.
Maybe they'll hook up some more tickets.
So this is a whiskey and wine memorial dinner.
Yeah.
Tell us about Ben.
So I didn't know Ben, but I've obviously learned a lot about him. He was a firefighter. Went into a vacant building downtown, and the second floor collapsed on him, and he was the only one that didn't make it out that night. Hockey guy, Vianney guy. And just his friends have rallied around him. This is the 3rd annual one, where just to find a legacy for him, to hopefully, right now they do scholarships. The last couple of years they've done scholarships for first responders' children, which has been super cool. They want to take it out a little bit further. I think they did a little better than they thought they were going to do. And we're going to be raising even more money this year. They brought me in this year to really kind of bring the auction and really bring a night to the table. Jim Campbell and Tony Twist are going to be there with us, and we're actually going to put our fights up on the big screen, and we're going to actually break down down. So I call it talking tough. And so we basically, explain what's going on in the fight as we go through it.
Oh,
so,
very cool.
Twister fought Chaser when Chaser was in Hartford. So that's one of the fights that we'll
remember
get to, that Twister will get to break down. But it's just a night to celebrate Ben, and then to also raise some money. One of the things that they really want to do is they want to start to purchase some of these vacant properties downtown and demolish them so that we're not risking firefighters' lives going into burning buildings that there's nobody even there. Or, unfortunately, if there's some homeless people or whatever in there, they're obviously going in to make sure that there is nothing and nobody in there. But if we could get these buildings tore down and then build some affordable housing, how could that help not only firefighters but downtown St. Louis? So just trying to get outside the box a little bit and help out as much as possible.
Beautiful. And then there's a cruise coming up that is later this year.
That's later this year. Now it's 2025 already. We're
Cruise
almost
with
through the
the
first
Blues.
month. Cruise with the Blues. Yeah, I'm super excited about this. Myself, Jim Campbell, Cam Jansen, and Jamie Rivers, and we get to take our significant others, which is really cool. We're gonna go on a cruise, 5-day cruise, and just kind of hang out. There's gonna be some meet and greets, and we're gonna do some storytelling time. And we love, especially the four of us. Like, we just love to be around the fans. We love to engage with them. We love to make sure that that next time they see us, they're like, "Man, it was so awesome to talk to you last time." So, and this is going to be an opportunity for there to be some real personal relationships and some friendships built, because we're going to be spending 5 days together. So I am super, super excited about this one. And I haven't been on a cruise in 25 years. So
I've never been on a cruise. Can you believe that?
Yeah, it's crazy.
So again, Miami, Bahamas, that's going to be a good time. We all could use that cruise right now for how cold it is. But September is that. So Altair Travel, again, you can look into that if you would like to spend some time with your favorite Blues alumni. Okay, so Christian said earlier that Reed needs his own podcast. Yes. And then you need to have me as a guest, by the way, on that.
I will, for sure.
He is. We talked about that in the beginning, in case you missed. He talked about that coming very soon. Stephanie, thank you for this comment. She said, "I'm so blessed to have family, friends, and my church family in my life. I'm here to help others be kind and live my best life." Beautiful thing to say. Good morning, Lisa. Let's see. I don't want to be stingy. You're not stingy, Julie. Thank you for playing along. And again, you're one of Monica's maniacs, so we appreciate that. Did anyone else on the other platforms have the right answer? Evidently not, right, Tia? Nobody else? Okay, see, so you got it. So we're going to give it to you. Looks like tickets are still available on the site. Yeah, so for the whiskey event, check that. Again, you might want to try. If you can purchase them and they can squeeze you in.
We'll find room for you. It's for charity.
Yeah, let's squeeze you
can
in.
Have my chair. I'll stand.
So we've been manifesting this, and I had a meeting yesterday with our friend Corey, and I said, okay, we just need to make this happen. Whether it is my current manager, Lori, I'm going to maybe sick her on this, or if Michelle helps out or somebody else. You have about, 12 to 20 events you do each month?
Yeah, anywhere. There's some months that are a little bit busier than others, but I average about nine auctions a month.
So a lot of those auctions obviously have an MC that usually gets paired with it. We've been talking about this. I don't believe that there's any better duo than the two people sitting in this room right now. So from an auctioneering standpoint and from an MC standpoint, we both have huge hearts for helping out our nonprofits and getting them the most money that they've ever seen. Yes, I have auctioneered for the last 10 years, but that's when I lose my voice. And I prefer not to, since I wake up very early the next morning to do shows. So I would love to leave that to Reed and for me to do the emceeing. If you have an event coming up, okay, let me give you my email address, info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com. Reach out to me. I can send you over to my manager, Lori, or Lori, we're going to start maybe kind of just taking these and organizing them and getting them all set up to where this just happens. But we would love to do that. I've got some MC and auctioneering events coming up with Incarnate Word. I can't wait. That was one of my absolute favorites last year. Also for CARE STL, looking forward to that. Yuppie Puppies Gala will be later on in the fall. I'm looking forward to doing that as well. But again, if you are looking to raise the paddle one more level, then this is it right here. We can do that for you. Just reach out to us, and I'd love to team up. You had mentioned a lot of different changes from a business standpoint. You sold your beverage company.
Yeah, we closed the beverage company down in August, so just kind of cleaning up some of the accounts, getting out of the warehouse, trying to find places to go with the alcohol, which made it into my basement, a little bit of it. So I'd have to buy red wine for a hot minute. I've got some for you too. And yeah, it's been a huge relief. When I take a look at the company. I learned a lot. I met so many amazing people. It was a lot of fun to get out there and knock on doors. But you had asked me earlier what I'm supposed to do,
Yes.
and events and charity is where my passion is. It's not even work for me. To be able to take an event and know that I can come in and just from an auction standpoint, turn that around for them and make it something that they never thought there was. There's a lot of places right now that are these charitable organizations are just, the Central Institute for the Deaf. They haven't had an auction for the last few years because they just didn't have the right person doing it. Well, the gal that was running that saw me out one night and she came up to me immediately. She's like, I have to have you for my next event. And so I don't even really market and advertise that much. A lot of it's just people see me up on stage and they see that presence that comes along with it. And so I know that's what God wants me to do. And I know that I make a difference. And I'm very blessed to be able to be in the light where I can provide for my family and generate more revenue for charitable organizations to do the things that they need to do all in one fell swoop. And I just love people. I love being around people. I love putting smiles on people's faces. And just super blessed to be in the space that I'm in.
So he was able to answer his purpose. And again, it would be interesting in a year from now if it stays the same. But if it actually, what usually happens is things attach to the purpose. And it's like, oh, well, this opened up a whole nother window for me, a whole nother door for me to take this purpose and add to the purpose. I want you to think about it because there are so many people that don't have the self-love that you and I talked about earlier in the show. That needs to be number one. And then watch what happens with this other love that happens. You would not have probably had the relationship you have right now if you didn't find self-love. You agree with that?
I 1,000% wouldn't have the love that I have today with Tracy if Jesus wasn't in my heart. And it's a crazy 10-month story of two people that I shook her hand one day and something changed in me. And I cannot explain it. And we're just such good friends. I hate not being around her. And she lives in O'Fallon, Illinois, and I live in Imperial, Missouri, and it's a 45-minute drive that I'd make 4 times a day if I had to. You know what I mean? And she's a special human. I thought I had energy, and then I met her. When she's in a room, we went to Montana in August, and literally I'm sitting at the bar, and she's talking to 5 people as if we were traveling with them, and I'm just sitting here. I tell her all the time, I just love to watch you live. I just love to watch you live, and she's got so much positiveness, and nothing gets her down. And that doesn't mean that you don't have the moments behind the closed door where you're absolutely a mess, but always finding a way, and our relationship, this is the first time in my life that I've ever had a relationship that both of our bases is the rock of Jesus. We are standing on that rock together. He's holding our hands together. I believe without question that I was brought into her life and she was brought into my life. We're not there to, as one person and the other person doesn't need anything. She doesn't even realize some days how much she's healed me just being in my life, and the love and the understanding of what it's like to be a woman. This is something this lady is it just exudes out of her, and she's a phenomenal person. I'm very fortunate to be in her life and to be able to have the love and learn the love that I love with her. And it's funny because, like I was said earlier, her husband passed away in September of 2023, and we met about 6 months after, and that's not a super long time, right, especially when it was your high school sweetheart and yada yada yada. But that's the open surrender that she lives in. And the more that I got to know her and the more that I watched what her family and her kids were going through and living through, and how she still had almost a stronger love for Jesus after everything was all said and done, really is inspiring to me. She inspires me every single day. And I'm just, like I said, I get a little bit because I don't even know what to say. It's just she just lights my day. She lights my day.
Well, isn't that infectious to be around?
Unbelievable.
And that's the other thing, because when you are in that relationship that you're meant to be in, you look at who you start to surround yourself with, and you start to look at friendships that you no longer have in your life and how they go away. They're not supportive of you. They weren't meant for you anyway, right? So you have to be willing to say, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. I every day say my prayer. You've got a 45-minute drive. I bet you do a lot of praying and meditating as you drive to Tracy's house.
A lot of Brandon Lake.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to give you this and tell me what you feel about this. One of the things that changed for me in 2025 was to actually physically hit my knees for prayer.
Yeah.
And I think about that when you're a little kid, you're right, your mom and dad will have you, let's go by the bed, let's pray before we go to bed. And the little kids are kneeling down. And that was lost in me. And I was like, how can I take my faith to a whole nother level? There's something so powerful about hitting my knees in prayer that has elevated me, and it just gives me chills every morning. Actually, I've even taken it another level where I'll kneel down, do the sign of the cross, and then all of a sudden I will just lift my arms up to heaven and just feel and immerse myself in the breath, and then all of a sudden feel the sun on my face, and I'm like, good morning, right? You're already providing one gift immediately. But today it was, thank you for the sight in my eyes, for the voice that Reed and I are going to have together to deliver your word, for what I hear and what I grab in that, and then continuing to do your word. And then that's how it is. And some people are like, I don't even know how to begin to pray. No one's judging.
No.
That's the same thing about journaling. People always think someone's going to judge you. They're going to read your words and they're going to think you wrote something wrong. There is no right or wrong here.
Well, if you're looking for a good song to kind of help you with your relationship with Jesus, go to your music platform and look up Talking with Jesus by Brandon Lake.
Okay.
And then just listen to all of Brandon's music. It's phenomenal. He's got some slow stuff. He's got some other stuff. Everything's based in the heart of Jesus. He's not afraid to speak of it. And his music is really, that music. When I turned on Joy FM January 7th, 2021, that was another thing that I would say probably changed my life more than anything, was listening to the songs. I would listen to songs before that were depressing and sad, and and when I started to listen to that, there's hope and there's love out there, and all you got to do is grab a hold of it and receive it. That's the part that really is crazy. So my kids get a little bit frustrated because that's all I have on the YouTube back home. But I've allowed some country to sneak in, a little bit of Cody Johnson. He's real good too.
He's amazing.
He loves his Jesus too.
I want
he's coming
Cody
to concert
Johnson
here
on
Friday.
this show.
Yeah, he's coming to concert here on Friday.
This Friday?
Yep.
Where?
Enterprise.
Oh.
So, and I probably should make a call on a contact, because Tracy and I want to go, but she was telling her friends the other day, she's like, with Reed, he's kind of last minute. So I would rest on whether he's going to, next thing you know, it'll be Thursday. I'll be like, hey, I got 2 tickets right beside the stage. You want to go? That's kind of how I roll. I don't mean to be there. My number one thing this year is details. Bring the details to the table, because that's one thing that I've always just been weak with, and I've always just been like, woo, oh, look at, I got it over here.
But being spontaneous is awesome. There's a thing about being organized, and we all need that a little bit more in life, but allow yourself to be spontaneous as well. Cody Johnson in concert. I may need to look into this, because Cody Johnson's song has to do with me taking the leap, and it made me cry, drop to my knees and cry when I kept hearing it over and over and over again. I knew you were going to ask me. Oh. I'm blanking on...
I think I know which one you're talking about. It's
what
called,
is it?
I don't know, I'm blanking too. You made me
See?
blank.
Well, that's because we're talking about something amazing. I'm going to look it up right now. What was happening is my dad was talking to me, God was talking to me, Cody Johnson, who I had never heard of, was talking to me through this song, and I just kept going over and over and over again till you can't. So you can't. Yep. Okay, if you have not heard that song, it is such a powerful song, and he is such an incredible artist, by the way. Teddy Swims, by the way, who I found on Instagram 4.5 years ago. I
just saw his stuff.
Oh, you need to see him in concert, though. So Jim and I saw him in Birmingham, Alabama, in a small little venue. Teddy is incredible, one of the most soulful performers. He's been through a lot, and still, well, the name of his current tour is I've Tried Everything But Therapy. We just saw him at the Factory. Great venue, by the way, to see a concert. Venue. He is remarkable, and I was trying to get him before he blew up. Now he's everywhere, and I'm like, okay, now he thinks he's too big. Yeah. But Teddy Swims, Cody Johnson, from Joy FM. Is it Daigle? Lauren Daigle?
Oh, Lauren Daigle, yeah.
She's amazing.
Phenomenal.
She sounds like Adele a little bit.
Yeah, she has got a powerful voice. Phil Wickham's another one of the best worship singers out there. He's just so soulful with his music. There's a song out there, and I would YouTube it and watch the video. It's called Hymn of Heaven. Just watching him perform is phenomenal. Zach Williams is another one. He's got a song called Fear is a Liar. I would highly recommend you listen to that song, because that's another thing. We fear. Satan puts the fear in us. He's the one that's talking into your head, telling you you're not good enough.
Right.
And that's too many times.
And you give him power.
And we give him power when we listen to him. And, Jesus saves and Jesus heals, there's no question about it. And, like I said, it's not for everybody, because there was once upon a time where it wasn't for me.
Right.
And I'd be like, oh, Bible thumper. Now
and
I'm a
it's
Bible
okay.
thumper.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, woo,
But the message in that, by the way, is it's okay. As I mentioned, we're going to end the show with the 100 Days to Freedom books. Jesus Calling, Jesus Listens. There's a Christmas one that Marilyn, one of our big viewers, gave me to use this coming Christmas. Sarah Young is absolutely amazing. It's the message wherever it is. And if you keep seeing messages, whether that is, you can say it's Jesus or God or it's somebody from above that you've lost, there is hope that's out there that someone's trying to, or something, whatever your higher power is. We're, again, not saying, let's thump the Bible, let's push. We are simply saying it was our time, and your time, trust me, is coming. Even if for some people it is literally their last dying wish to be saved. And guess what? He does.
Anytime.
I mean, that's what's beautiful.
Anytime. And it's never too late. It's never too late to talk about it. It's never too late to feel it. You were talking about on your knees. I've got Osgood Slatter, so I can't get on my knees. So,
I'll help you back up.
But I do have a special pillow in my room, and when in the morning and before night, like, I put both my hands. It's my Jesus pillow, and that's where we connect. It's when I'm having a bad day and I need to go and recharge. Don't be afraid to go lay down or to go spend some time with him when it's not that moment of the day. Take the time out of your day to go spend with him, because you will feel better. And I am living proof of this. And surrender and gratitude are the two keys to a life of peace and grace.
Peace and grace and gratitude and kindness and all of that. Let me see. Stephanie said, I am so happy for you that you found her and God's blessings in your girlfriend. Love Brandon Lake and Casting Crowns. I listen to Joy all the time. I know, right? It's amazing. Sofa Couch from Joy FM all the Thursdays in February in Arnold. I don't know about that. Do you know about that?
I didn't.
Oh, okay. See? So, Julie, thank you for the awareness. Okay, we're going to let you choose it. 100 Days to Freedom, all of these books. The top one's from depression, second one's overeating, third one is shame, fourth one is anger, and the last one is fear and anxiety. Which one would you like?
Fear and anxiety.
See? No matter if I bury it, it always gets chosen. That is the majority of our world. A lot of people have fear and anxiety, or they just like the color purple.
Everybody has fear and anxiety, and every single person on this planet has dealt with mental issues.
Yes.
You're not alone.
And all you have to do is start talking about it, and you'll be surprised how many family and friends will all of a sudden come and rally around you and say, I'm in the same boat. We just haven't talked about it. More people are talking about it now, and it's actually needed for you to say, I'm not okay. And all of a sudden, everybody grabs each other, holds hands, gives each other hugs, and says, it's okay. We're going to do this together.
Can I tell you a quick story?
Yeah.
So you just talked about, boyfriend, girlfriend. When Tracy and I, we started just being friends, like we were hanging out and talking and texting, and that's it. And as we started to grow towards each other, everyone's like, well, you're dating, or you're this, or this is boyfriend, girlfriend. And she's like, I'm married. I can't have a boyfriend, because the love of Mike is still there. And I feel like there's a part of Mike that has come to me somehow from the spirit world. Like, it's the craziest feeling I've ever had. So her son, when he was a little kid, came up with this word, chuthers. So that's what we call each other. We're each other's. And that's our chosen other.
Oh, I love it. Chuthers. Yeah. Jim, you're my chether. Where are you? Up there. Dad, I love you. You're my chether, too, in another realm.
Yeah, you get a chether.
Chether. I'm putting that on a shirt. Where's your chether? I hope you have one. All right, everybody, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to wrap up with 100 Days to Freedom from Fear and Anxiety. You can feel how many people have needed this one, because we're already on page 57 of 100 Days to Freedom from that. The other ones are still around 20 or 30, but they all lead into each other. If you have fear and anxiety, you have depression. You probably overeat. You have other addictions. You have shame. You have anger. But it all stems from this one. Fear and Anxiety from Stephen Arterburn when we return. Whoever captured that picture is one of my favorites. I'm sure there's a lot of pictures of Reed just the same way. You, yes, you $1,000, you $1 million. Give it to me. Give it to this charity. So yes, emceeing and auctioneering, but now we're talking about turning it over to God to say, lead us together in that realm. Let's see, great singers coming. Yes, Scott Schusler, a good friend of ours, he is watching right now and said, Reed is such an inspiring friend. Thank you. This has been a beautiful, inspiring, spiritual, hopeful show. I have Osgood Slaughter also, Lisa says, and I've been kneeling and praying in the morning and at night. Surrender, peace, grace, kindness, faith. Yeah, sometimes we just have to go through the pain for him, and we'll do it because he went through a hell of a lot of pain. Let's do that. I'm going to use the word, a hell of a lot of pain for us. Okay, provision. That's the one for today. Day 57 of 100 Days to Freedom from Fear and Anxiety. For the Lord God is our sun and our shield. He gives us grace and glory. The Lord will withhold no good thing from those who do what is right. O Lord of heaven's armies, what joy for those who trust in you. That's Psalm 84, verses 11 and 12. So what will it take for you to consider this day a good day? We want to start your day on a good note, a positive note. Are you feeling overwhelmed, though, by the list of tasks that you're facing? Did you even get any sleep because your mind was racing? Is your heart breaking because of a loss? Are you uncertain what the future holds for you? No matter what you have on your heart today, God will provide. What we believe about God's provision has a direct impact on our level of anxiety and fear every day. When you believe that it's all on you, you lose sight of the truth that God will provide just what we need, just at the time when we need it. I mentioned it, about a half hour ago? When it's His time. Even on days when it feels like God's late to the game, we have to build our trust that His timing is perfect. So whatever you're facing today, we're talking to you. Whether it feels insurmountable or it's just a small thing that's irritating you, trust that God will provide. Be reassured. God's promises are a foundation upon which you can build your life. Trusting that God will provide in every situation in your life is the pathway to joy. Philip Yancey said, a God wise enough to create me and the world I live in is wise enough to watch out for me. We talked about earlier, right? That He will carry you. Billy Graham, we can be certain that God will give us the strength and resources we need to live through any situation in life that He ordains. The will of God will never take us where the grace of God cannot sustain us. And Kay Arthur said, God knows what each one of us is dealing with. He knows our pressures. He knows the conflicts, and He's made a provision for each and every one of them. That provision is Himself in the person of the Holy Spirit, indwelling us and empowering us to respond rightly. So here's your prayer for today. Lord God, You are the giver of life. You have provided for me all my days, and I'm grateful. Help me to rest in the truth that You will provide what I need for each day. Thank You for loving me so much. Amen. And I love that we are able to bookend your day with a devotional. You start that way, and I would highly encourage, however you want to do it, that you end that day as well, right before you close your eyes, because then that's where you bring peace. And peace, by the way, was my word of the day. So you don't have to answer right away if you don't feel one, but I always like for everybody to pick a word of the day. What would be your word for today?
Love.
Love. Peace, love, kindness.
One other thing that I've learned kind of in my journey with this is it was important for me to have a relationship with Jesus first, because I was struggling, and I still to this day work on having a relationship with God, because we don't have a clue. And so it was from the human side, I had to have my relationship with Jesus first. Once I truly received Jesus in my heart, then I was given the gift of the Holy Spirit. And when I truly understood how the Holy Spirit works, the Holy Spirit for me works by receiving it every single day, every single second of every single day, not just setting it on the mantle and saying, see, I've got the Holy Spirit, it sits on the mantle, but actually receiving it inside you. And then once I received that inside of me, then I was starting to be able to have a relationship with God. And that's kind of the cyclical part, because they're three in one. God is the master of the universe. The Spirit of love is there, and Jesus is God in human form. And so, for me, when and if my podcast comes out.
There you go. Don't say if, when. Manifest it.
When it comes out, it's I want to help. If there's a pure passion behind what it is, I want to help that person that was like me, that's a little lost, wants something, is craving and thirsting for it, but just doesn't really know how to get there, because I'm kind of scared of church, and and it hasn't really treated me that well, and I'm over here by myself, but I don't have to be by myself. And so what can it be? And I'll go walk into any church now. I have absolutely zero problem with church. I'm not a huge fan of religion because it's about being right, not getting it right. I wish that we could have one big unity of people that just love Jesus, and there wasn't this guy, and all 475 different Christian religions based on one God, one Jesus, and one Holy Spirit. So at the end of the day, that's the world around us. I want to get into all of them and kind of just sit and listen and be able to have a little bit of an understanding.
That is what I did.
That's
And
what we did.
I was doing like field trips. I was doing church field trips. I was like, where can I go today? And I was telling people, invite me to yours, because I just want to see what everyone's doing. I want to see where everyone's lost. I want to see where they are found. I want to see them walk out after the message. And are they starting to talk about it? I told Jim, the problem with me always was work, no matter what. I would rush to go to church, and then I'd come back and it was work. I was like, no more. Sundays, there's a reason why a lot of businesses were closed on Sunday, the Lord's Day. It is because we were supposed to immerse ourselves in that faith and then go off to brunch and continue to talk about, well, what'd you get from that message? That's where I am now, in a beautiful place. Right now, we've been going to the Crossing. I love it. I really would like to get down to the Chesterfield one because I want to be in person with Greg, who is unbelievable, by the way. If you've been, he's one of the pastors of the Chesterfield location. I always thought it was weird to watch on a screen, but somehow I still have the message and I still love the music that's there. But invite us. Maybe Reed and I will come together on these church field trips.
We should start that up.
That'd
be fun.
Let's do it. All right, we could go on for hours. This is how it's going to be with our podcast, with his podcast to come. This will make it onto the podcast, by the way. We have a podcast we drop on Thursdays on all of the audio platforms. So listen for Reed and I to be on one very soon. I love you. You're welcome here anytime.
It's my pleasure.
Excited. We need to have dinner with the four of us, by the way.
100%.
With our, what do you call them? Chuthers.
Chuthers. Chosen others.
Chuthers are getting together. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Again, we hope we started your day with some laughter, with some introspective aspect of life, of you to think another level, to know that, yes, He's got you. We've got you. This community, by the way, that has been formed, we are here for you. So if you ever feel lost, just reach out and we'll take care of you. Thank you so much. And that is the one thing that we always ask you to do, by the way, is to spread that love of kindness. Tomorrow we're going to have a review, because I'm going tonight with my mother to see Six, the musical at the Fabulous Fox Theater. We're going to have the cast on from 6, so that'll be coming up. And we'll do our generational talk with Mama Jackie, because we need to bring Mom and Monica back. It's the Mom and Mon Senior Moment segment. Look for her to appear on the show this week as well. All right, everybody, have a beautiful day. And remember, we always say, be kind. God bless you all.